Three, two, one, clap. What up, everybody? Welcome to another Late Start Review. I'm your host, MGG, and I'm joined here by my co-host.
What's going on? It's Jugga.
Hey, it's Player 5.
Yo, and today we are doing a Late Start review of Erased. Just dropped on Netflix, but it's been out for a long time. Let's see if it stood the test of time. Let's go.
Basically, what Erased is about, it's about this guy, Satoru. He's basically your regular average guy, except he wants to draw manga or something like that. But in any event, that's not what matters. He basically gets these things called revivals, which is where after some shitty event happens, I don't know, a kid getting injured or something like that, he'll see these blue butterflies, and then he'll basically rewind time and get a chance to fix it. It's been happening all his life, and they set it up as to make you think that that's kind of the main story. But what ends up happening is a traumatic event happens. His mom get murdered, and then he has a revival, which normally are 30 seconds, maybe a minute. He has one that's all the way back to his childhood. Right? I think he went from being 19 to 10 or 11, or 29 to being 10 or 11 years old. Right? So really far back. And the whole premise is that the killer, whoever killed his mom, must have been the person who committed these murders from his childhood. So then it's basically this mystery of this 10-year-old boy who's actually a 30-year-old man trying to figure out who has been the killer in his past and his present. Yeah, that's Revival. Or my bad, not Revival. That's Erased. Anybody want to add anything maybe that I'm missing on that?
No,
Nope.
as far as the main premise goes, that's pretty much it. Homie's just trying to find the killer and fix his timeline.
So my favorite character in this whole series is kind of how I want to start this is what's the girl's name? Man, I always forget her name.
The main one, Kaio, or
not the main girl. I think her name was
mom?
Irie.
Yeah,
the pizza girl.
Yeah, the teenage pizza girl. Yeah.
So the main character works at this pizza delivery joint, and there's just this loose teenager who works there too. She has not very much, deep into the plot. As far as the anime goes, manga is a completely different story. But as far as the anime goes, she's just kind of regular, but she's so down. They started convicting my man of murder and all this stuff, and she ride with him. You know what I'm saying? She don't never waver. She my favorite character because she not the special one here. She just a down ass chick.
Right. And I actually she's one of my top two. She's not my favorite, but she's definitely on my top two characters because Homegirl just be about that. I mean, you could call it. I mean, if you want to, you can call it slight naivete as far as believing that he wasn't the killer of his mom at that point. But even still, she kind of proven just with her character and her personality that she's able to trust the right kind of people. She just has that ability to talk to someone, be real with them, and is able to tell who's real and who's fake because I gotta effing write his name dirty. The pizza manager, mother effer, is a low down, dirty piece of donkey, bro. I'm sorry. But as soon as he literally was bro, if you end up meeting the homie, I mean yeah, he probably got accused of killing his mom, but he didn't do that. When you meet up with him, tell him it's all good. And she was like, oh word, that's so legit. And homie just ends up spying on her because he's been creeping and ended up finding Buddy and wanted to rat him out. Are you serious, my guy? That's just ridiculous. But anyways, that's my 5-minute rant on that kid. In any case, Homegirl is definitely legit. definitely like kind of started the flow with the anime in the sense of that he had to start exploring. I don't talk about the main character here, but he had to start exploring this different mindset of how important it is to be real, which the anime definitely goes into when he goes back in time and you kind of see the origin of like pretty much his fakeness, for a lack of a better phrase. So I definitely enjoyed on the tone that she set.
Yeah, I mean this. I'm gonna. I don't know. I don't know. Have as much stuff to say as y'all. This series is like new for me, at least the storytelling aspect of it. So, like I did appreciate her as a character, but I also like I don't know. My issue with the whole thing was like I felt like I didn't spend enough time with these characters, and I'm kind of biased because I'm I'm reading the stolen version of this Tokyo Revengers, where the plotline is like after watching the race, I was like, yeah, Tokyo Revengers literally stole a plotline from the show. Like
Wow.
it's the exact same plotline, but just longer. So you really got to like, get to know the characters. So for her, I liked her a lot, and I actually wasn't surprised about her believing of him because she like you guys said, she was kind of dumb. So I was just like, yeah, sure, of course she would do something stupid like that. She has like, she's in high school. What's the worst thing that could happen to her? They'll just pin it on him anyways. Like it worked out. But I was actually more interested in the Kaio storyline. Like I felt like that drama aspect with her mom.
Yeah.
I didn't really appreciate the payoff at the end with the whole why the mom did this thing. But I did like. I thought I liked that dark turn in that story where pretty much all these kids just had a fucking normal ass life, and Kaio was just going through this fucked up shit like on the reg, and I kind of liked how they kind of seasoned that. I don't know. I guess like from my perspective of anime, you don't really talk about the parents and how much they struggle as much, but I felt like even in Satoru's mom, you saw the struggle. She was still like a single mom working. It kind of just was like telling you like this is a regular neighborhood of people. So I appreciated them bringing me into that world that way. And I also thought the part with the what's her name, the little girl was funny and almost fucked up too. When she tried to like put on Kaio that she stole all that money, and then Satoru just flipped on her ass. Yeah. And Satoru just flipped on her ass, and basically it ruined her whole like elementary school career more or less.
Destroyed it, bro.
Big facts.
I thought this shit was hilarious. But then also at the same time, I was like, damn, bro, almost got her ass killed too. Like, it was,
right?
It was fucked up.
One moment literally shifted her entire life. Like that's just another like big ups again to the series and like why I definitely like it. But I mean, the thing is that how sad it is like how true you can see that. You know what I mean? Like ish like that, I bet happens like actually every day. Like, well, maybe not now because of COVID, everybody indoors. But anyways. I mean, like just in general though, like it's crazy how much, at least in like elementary school or high school, that one moment can actually like change your entire life path. It's crazy.
Yeah, that scene made me feel like the bully because I was like, yeah, bitch got what she deserved. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, dang, she about to get kidnapped.
Yeah,
I love her dumbass. Now she be dead because of me.
It definitely made me feel bad. Yeah, it definitely made you feel bad for laughing at her. Like, I was like, oh, shit, bro. They were like, yeah, she ain't got no friends. She out there by herself now. I said, damn, bro, over this one thing?
like, bro, I done known dudes to get caught, like, on pissing themselves in their career and get ended this hard.
Yeah, right?
I'm like, Japanese school must be ruthless, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, y'all were totally fine with her being a shitbag before. But now that she got outed as a shitbag, y'all like, oh, no, we can't. She's a shitbag. We can't fuck with her now. Like, what? And that's why I also wasn't surprised in, like, the final revival, like, when she was like, they were like, oh, yeah, and it was, what's her name? Mitsu, whatever. It was like, oh, she was the one grinding so hard for them to like pay your bills or whatever. I was like, of course she had a reputation.
Paying the bills. That was legit.
Yeah, I was like, she had a reputation to uphold. Her ass definitely was like, this is my end, bro.
This is how I get there. But this is my thing with that. Actually, I feel like that'll lean more into plot. So yeah, I won't talk about it right now. We can finish up with the characters.
Because I've been having something to say about that too. I don't know if what we're thinking is the same thing, but I was debating whether or not to say how I feel about the middle years of his life. But I'll wait till plot.
Yeah. Other things I want to throw out for characters, teacher, man, I don't know his name besides Sensei.
Gaku.
That's his name?
Gaku.
Serial killer homie.
Oh wow! I'm just gonna keep calling him Sensei. I
mean, it's a colder name. It's definitely a colder name.
Like, so I was like, man, so this is my this year's my third time watching Erased. So I'm kind of drawing on my first time watching it, because third time watching it, I feel like I was like, yeah, okay, he's fucking serial killer, super easy. But my first time, man, I was really out here thinking he was a good dude, I thought he was just gonna be that classic teacher. I didn't think he was gonna matter.
See, I didn't know we were doing this now. I thought we were gonna say this a plot, but I had to put it out there, bro. I think I called it because it was just a little bit iffy about the abuse claims. I just felt like his story right there sounded fishy, and no lie, my wife was watching it with me, and she just as soon as she said he did it.
Now, I want to throw this out here though. I want to throw this out here. I will say this. I don't know what the Japanese explanation of that was, but I felt like I was more on his side at that point, because from a teaching standpoint, there really do be cases where yo, this kid getting beat, and you try and tell somebody, and Child Protective Services, bro, if they wasn't getting beat with a pot, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sometimes it'd be some sticky situations that be kind of hard for real, in real life. That's why I was like, bro, if they trying to be realistic here, I could see that happening. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about dipping and dodging Child Protective Services like that, but she must be a fucking god for real. But
I felt like he was just too invested in all the children's lives. And I mean, by the time it kind of got to the big, where I was like, okay, they're telling me it's him, basically, was with the chick being ostracized or whatever. I don't know, it just seemed like every time he wanted to do something, he had to kind of go through the teacher to do it. And it just was very iffy. I don't know. Something always felt off about him to me in the beginning. Too young to be a fucking elementary school teacher as a male. No disrespect, not typecasting people, but it just I definitely did. But it's just something off about why is you doing that? Why are you doing that? I'm just confused.
I want to, before, because it seems like we transition it into plot. And before I dumpster on that, I wanted to just say one last few things about a couple characters. It was Kaio's mom.
Oh yeah.
And what's your call is the main character, Satoru's mom. Yeah. They were both polar opposites, but they were just the two most unbelievable characters in the whole thing. A lot of it drew me in with his realism, but Kaio's mom was unapologetically shit. And I get it, she's not the main character. We probably not gonna delve into her life, but I didn't feel it somebody could be that shit. Even though there are people I get it. So her character didn't seem very believable. And on the other hand, Satoru's mom was just perfect. You know what I'm saying? Single mom, going hard everywhere.
Hey, she's a witch, bro. We already know what it was.
Yo, I mean, he did actually call it out.
She was a godly single mom, because I from my experience, I'm not coming from a single parent home, so I'm not I can't even really say my experience, but I don't believe that single mothers are as there as she was. Meaning, if you have a full-time job and you're trying to take care of your kid, the ability for her to always be there right when he was out of school, be around at all of these key moments, I was they definitely wrote the ideal single mom. More respect to her for being able to do all those things. But I was when they kept saying she's a witch, I was yo, that lady a witch for real, bro.
Right, bro. And I gotta say, as coming from a single mom experience, no, bro. You could guarantee living in a single household, unless your mom made hella bread, in which case, obviously, she's afforded more time. That's just how capitalism works. But if you live with a basic income level single mom, no, she was not just popping up nowhere. Like, it doesn't work that way, bro. Like, she did not have ample time to be in all your little hijinks. Like, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy talk. She probably working more than one job, if we being honest.
I gotta come to her defense on one little thing though, if you really do think about it. Now again, what I'm about to say does not cover when homie actually got into a coma. Now that to me was straight god level. Like the kind of time that she actually put in, like taking care of him while he was in a coma. If you do that math, that is crazy. Like,
and Loki, it still made it seem like she lived a life. Like they were saying, like, yeah, she sacrificed, but for what she did, they still kind of played it off like, you know, like she was able to go on some dates. Yeah, like, I was like, no, nigga, she was there all the time.
I mean, but and honestly, like if I was now, first off, I'm not a parent, but if I actually tried to delve into a mind like of a dad, like if I was like a single dad, blah blah blah. She wasn't involved necessarily as far as the hijinks go because she gave him that much trust, if you really think about it. Because homie was doing a lot of stuff that she didn't technically know what he was doing. She had guesses, and she had like the trust as far as to like knowing her son as far as like what he's probably doing, but she still didn't know for sure. And in all honesty, I actually thought that as probably the only bad quality of a mom, in the sense that you have no idea what homie's doing, like stupid late at night and super early morning, at least for a 10, 11-year-old child.
No, yeah, there was a couple of wild parts for me, like when they were just like, hey mom, I'm finna go walk her home like in the middle of the fucking night. I was like, never in Chicago. Now, the fuck?
This is one thing I want to point out for that. Why I gotta save them on that one. They can't get dinged for that, and that's because it's an accurate portrayal of rural Japan. Now, most of the shows we watch are from like city life Japan, but in rural Japan, like imagine the safeness of Japan, but then added on top of that the safeness of rurality. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So niggas really do be like, oh yeah, sure, walk her home, and then come right back. I'm like, 2 a.m. What's going on? In America, no way.
And I was about to say, like, that,
your kid's not coming back.
I believe you, but yeah, like Chicago talk, that's just
Chicago. You basically sent your kid to the wolves. Exactly. Yeah, just take on the L at 9 at night. Good luck, motherfucker. Like,
damn,
that's a setup.
All right, I'll take it back. But I mean, just to still put some clout on her name, she's still my favorite character though. Like she was, she was pretty much like, just a touch, and like the plot point was that like she was again that like representation of like a real trusting, down to earth, actually will like listen to you, not really like textbook parenting, but like you parent your child how you see fit, and you're actually doing like a morally good job, at least in my opinion as a watcher. So it was like her, it was Irie, and then Kaio, just like all kind of like represented that big point. So that's definitely why I like all three, but definitely the mom and Irie is the top two.
Yeah, I'm gonna put just one more side note because I feel like it fits more in the characters and the plot. But I forget dude's name. It's not Kenya, but the other friend that was dressing like a kind of girlish before. Yeah, Hiromi. So I just gotta put this out there, like post like the final train of things, right? Like the final revival, I guess we could call it. That timeline. Like how the fuck does it feel to have became a doctor, to get your friend out of a coma, and then right when you finish all the hard shit, and I'm saying this because I like live with a doctor, so I understand the level of bullshit they have to go through, and then after that's all done, the nigga just wakes up. So literally, you just like that was your purpose.
A film director.
Exactly. Because I'm like, Kenya, at least he was like a lawyer, but you know, you could finesse that. You moved it around. He had a little happy life. Like this guy's basically, he sacrificed a lot just to try and slightly get the chance to figure out how to get this man out the coma. Then he just woke the fuck up. I would knock him back out. I would knock him the fuck back out. I'd be like, bro, you're coming back when I'm ready for you to come back. No, man.
Oh, snap. I mean, like, F around, though, he might have been doing it to speak game, though. I mean, don't forget, he's the husband of Kaio. So maybe, like, that was all tied into it.
I I thought Kenya was.
I thought it was Hiromi. No, I think it's Hiromi. I don't think it's Kenya.
It is for real? Oh shit! Whole time I thought it was Kenya because I was on that nigga like I was like, you a dirty son of a bitch, bro. You know he wanted some Kyle.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like I bet like Kyle like kept on visiting him in the hospital. So Hiromi was like, damn, okay, how can I make this work?
Wow.
So he's like, oh yo,
Yeah,
that's
really
gotta
was
be my
Hiromi.
life's goal to save him. Boom.
This whole time I thought it was Kenya, bro. I was like, damn,
I thought it
you
was
a
too.
dirty bastard.
Oh, bro. Don't sleep on the big homie. He got some girth too. So like, hey,
Yeah.
man, let's go.
I full slept on my bad, not Kenya, Hiromi. I slept on you fully, bro. I fully slept on you. All right.
And that's how he
If it go down,
this is
if
still
it go down like that in the rom-coms y'all watch, I might watch some more. If it go down like that, where some niggas you definitely did, because I'm like, look at the glow up. Like Hiromi, like niggas thought he was a girl back in the day.
And now he got
And
no
he got,
bitch, bro.
that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Don't sleep.
Wow.
Okay, last character I want to talk about real quick, just to again give like the realist hype, is actually Kenya. Since you mentioned him, because like low key, I had to like watch the series one more time to really like understand how much of a monster he is. But that like that interaction that he had with Satoru like in the hallway about like, bro, like who are you? Like you used to be like this basic little mother effer, and then now in one day you changed completely into someone that I actually respect. Like for him to call him out on him like that, it's like, bro, what kind of 10-year-old are you?
Oh God,
Facts. I was like,
his own anime.
Yeah, I was like,
this kid
he
is
might.
Like almost like well, I don't know you're not genius, but I mean he is incredibly mature for a 10-year-old. Like I've just never even heard of that before.
He was basically able to look this dude in the eye and realize he was a 30-year-old man in the body of a 10-year-old, bro. Like, imagine being in court with him. He like, nigga, I know you did.
That's
I know you did.
But like, my biggest issue was with Kenya was that like we didn't get enough time with him. So it kind of like his smartness was kind of fucked up, and I had always thought like in the back of my mind that something fucked up had either happened or was going on to him too, because I felt like all the oddball characters kind of had that in their storyline, right? Like dude had the fucking revival superpower, seen some fucked up shit. Kaio obviously getting abused, which is why she has such a skewed different perspective of the world. But pretty much anyone that wasn't really a kid, I felt like had some fucked up shit. So I was kind of mad that we didn't get a little more backstory on Kenya, and with the shortness of it, it just felt very like I knew he was special. They were always like inkling at it, even in the first revival, but it was just like still just felt sudden, like when it was like, oh hey, yeah, let's create a team.
Yeah, I mean, like you could low-key even argue that he was only used as like a plot device to kind of just carry the story, low-key.
Right.
So I mean that is definitely a little sad, but just because I like him, I'm giving him the big ups to not even like trying to think about that.
I fucks on him. And now I could put more respect on his name because I know he didn't take Satoru's girl. I thought that he was the nigga that did it, bro. I'm sorry, Kenya. I knew you was a stand-up guy. I thought, my bad, man. My bad.
So, I think from here we could probably move on to what, in my opinion, makes or breaks these types of anime over shonen is kind of the plot, because they can't depend on a dope action scene and some power-ups.
Demon Slayer.
Except for Demon Slayer. So yeah, I just kind of want to ask you is like, so what were your thoughts on the plot as far as like from beginning, middle, and end? I guess like what were people's thoughts? And I can go first if y'all want to get an idea of what I'm asking.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so like when I look at the beginning of the show, I think it was amazing. Like I get that like 10 out of 10s. It was like intriguing. It get you wondering what's going on. Real suspenseful. I don't know. I get stuck when I think about the beginning on one part, and that's like if he needed to be in the 10-year-old past thing to make it good for me. Like imagine what if he had to just solve this case as an adult? Could they have made it just as good or was it truly like the being in the like the weakness of like a 10-year-old that kind of made you fuck with it more?
Yeah, I felt like that was my biggest problem too with it. Was once he went back to like kid stage, I was like, how is he ever going to catch this nigga? Like, he needs an adult around at all times. Like, there's no way that they're gonna be able to like figure out this mystery and do something about it without an adult. Which is why his mom was dope in the Kaio scene, because it was like that was what you needed basically to be able to solve this situation. Um, but yeah, I that was always my biggest thing until the ending actually happened, which was like, I hope they don't plan on solving this shit when they little fucking kids. I didn't think it was gonna work.
I see that's kind of tough because it's like the main like plot or like the storyline as far as the progression through the episodes to me was just like super low key compared to like the side elements of what the story really tried to touch into. And like one of them, in which is like you guys kind of like already like touched on it, is that as kids they can't really produce results as far as when it already happens. As kids, it shows you that you have to start the preemptive measures before it happens, because when it starts to happen, it's kind of too late, you know? So like when looking at like the series with that mindset, I didn't really take too much away from them, considering that I knew that as little kids, they can't really do everything. All they can really do is like trying to like hit that main element of trying to get away from loneliness and to like really trying like even not true like friends necessarily, but just like love and like just in a spectrum of relationships that they kind of tried to show, aka like parental, friends, even it's a little sketchy, but even like Jun Shiratori, who was kind of like that sketchy guy, which is all we could talk about that later, and just not at all. But anyways,
that shit was
that nigga was weird.
Yeah, they never figured out his weirdness. I thought we was gonna figure it out at some point. Once again, same thing with the shortness of this story, but whatever. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. But I mean, like they kind of we again touched on it before, as far as like Misato, when Homegirl was accused of stealing, how easy it is for like someone to be completely isolated, and then that in turn pretty much determining your life path, like pretty much towards tragedy, aka this pedophile, rapist, killer over here. So I guess like I thought the plot was good as far as to how it tied in those elements. So as far as like giving it a rating, I'd probably give it 9 out of 10, simply because it was just unable to explore all the characters I was interested in. But again, for 12 episodes though, I would actually give it like a 10 out of 10. So it's kind of odd. It's like it's like I got to give it that 10 out of 10 in the sense that I can definitely see that if he was even given like 3 more episodes, like one of those like oddball animes that maybe gets like 14 or 15 episodes, I can see this being like the perfect drama anime. It would definitely have enough time then to touch on like literally everything, considering it was like just on the brink of it already. So yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with some of the things y'all were saying for sure. So like I consider the beginning to be basically from the start up until we officially save Kaio. And then after that, which is like, if you were to just take that as like a single season, if you were, I'd be like, hey, perfect anime right there. But after that is where it starts to steep down. And I would consider the middle to after they save Kaio to right when he goes into the coma. And I feel like this is where it starts to, really the wonder that I had before, like, is this show kind of lacking here, is like exposed in this area and in the middle part, because it's like, yo, these little kids can't stop a murderer. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, you would need to really be Conan Edogawa, my nigga. Like, he's a grown man, so like, what are you gonna do? And and then I think that it gets to the point, this is why it starts to get weak, because everything is believable except for when they start to go after this murderer, because it gets to the point where it's like, bro, you would be better off trying to convince people you can see the future than trying to do what you're doing as a fucking 10-year-old.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, now you're starting to lose me in believability.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like a lot of people would have believed him at the second revival, if he did tell them that. Which I thought, like I said, I'm coming from Tokyo Revengers, so I haven't realized that that plot was an exact copy early on. I just was like, I think feeding in plot points that I got from that manga into a race and hoping they did that. So it was like, that was one of the things the character in that manga does, is he like ends up just telling a couple people like, yeah, nigga, I'm basically from the future, and they believe him. So I felt like Satoru, especially with how weird he was acting, how much of a witch his mom is, and how weird Kenya was, they at least those two would definitely have been like, all right, I believe you.
Mm-hmm. Like he could literally do something very simple, like, yo, I know who the next president is gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like, I know that this person is running for president. If my 10-year-old can tell me who's like running for president, and he say, yo, I'm from the future, and sound like, you know, articulate, all right, you know what? I might have to think about it.
All right.
That's, I mean, like, yes and no. Yes, for the simple fact that his mom was, again, like that perfect parent. So F around, if he actually tried, she might actually believe him. So they kind of set it up where like the mom could accept like what he's trying to say reasonably well, which I would definitely see you for. But I mean, we still can't escape the fact though that homie's like 10, 11 years old. Like his mom would literally be the only one that would take him slightly seriously. So I mean, you're still dealing with, you know, a killer who's incredibly smart and meticulous. That, I mean, like, I don't know, like that would be kind of tricky.
I think his mom is low-key all he needs. If he had one adult that was like fully, I mean, his mom was on his side, but she wasn't aware of the whole situation. A lot of it was like luck and circumstance.
Right.
So I think if she was actually fully invested, she probably could have been like, all right, let's go about this. Like and she's a reporter too. So she had like hella,
she was the plug.
Yeah.
That's
he
true.
just needed her to know, and he'd have been good. And that's what I think I made a meme about it.
Use that at all.
Yeah, I made a meme about it. I was like, characters that would solve it in one episode, his mom. She was one of them. Well, after watching that, I was like, Loki, if his mom was like his mom from the past, or like if just one thing had went right with that mom situation, it would be over with, bro. It's done in one episode. They would have found out who the killer was. We'd have been good to go. But that whole like, and that was the other weird thing. I'll just like add on to what Player 5 said. I actually think those two cut points for the arcs is really like I agree with that. And I feel like basically if they cut it at that first point, I would have been okay without the lack of development, because that would have been a nice short sweet story. But it's like that second revival started to make me interested in the other characters, and then it ends. So it's like, damn, I kind of wish that was there. And now I'll bring up my other point, which is how little they valued the time in between 11 and 29. They just made it seem like, well, if he was in a coma for that too, it's fine, because at the end he like is still able to fulfill his dreams and all that. And I'm just like, so you're telling me from 11 to whatever he, I don't know, improved his manga drawing ability while in a coma? Like, I feel like there's things you learn between those two. And even though he technically had, because he got back his revival memories, so technically he lived that time frame, I guess, if we look at it from that higher point, I still felt like it was just like, okay, it was just like they were getting hand wavy at the end with shit of just like, we got to close it out, because I wasn't too satisfied with the way they killed dude either. It was just very like, all right, sure.
Now, you know what would be wonderful? Because like I feel like, yo, they did the coma. It was obviously, because this happens whenever you see people mess with time travel, which is why like, yo, expert science fiction people don't mess with time travel. It's because you're going to have to write yourself into a plot hole. It just has to happen, because our world don't work that way. So when they get there, it's like he went the coma route, like, yo, put this nigga in a coma so I don't have to explain none of this shit. You just wake up and life is this way, you know? Now, what I always like is when people bring the person back to the future with an issue, but oh my God. Back to the Future. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. Wow. Was that on purpose? Oh my God.
It was not on purpose. That was
my
bad.
God. Hey, nomination for Goofy.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll take that.
Had the ballot.
We wouldn't have even noticed it if you didn't circle back.
Yo, bro, it hit me so hard I had to. But yeah, I just feel like they could have like woke him up in a new let's say if he came back to the future but minus a lot of memories because he didn't experience them, and then like, oh, but you find out now the killer's back at it again. He's trying to get the people he couldn't get before. I'm like, all right, now you're an adult who can actively act to stop this dude, and you still gotta save Kaio, which now maybe he has a relationship with that he don't even remember. So now she's like the one trying to help him remember their relationship. Like, that would have been fucking awesome. But instead, he fell into a coma. Which I feel leads us to the end, which is the worst part, especially in the anime. But I don't know if anybody got anything else they want to put on the middle.
I'll say for the killer storyline, I think as far as like the entirety of the plot, the drama and like Kaio's like storyline is they're gonna solve the abuse, plus the bigger storyline of murders definitely kept me in like through the whole thing. So I thought that was like coming from the primarily shonen side of things. I think if you're a type of person who's like looking to expand a little bit, you probably could watch this and not miss the action, so to speak. Like, I never found a moment while watching this where I was like, damn, I really miss, like, I wish they was throwing hands or anything like that. I was just appreciating the story for what it was. So I that's a kudos to the writer.
Yo, like just FYI though, like while we're talking, I was checking out the EPs, but like Kaio moved in with her grandma on episode 9. So I mean, we keep saying middle part, but I mean, I'm just trying to like make sure and make it clear for the audience. We're calling middle part 1 to 9, right?
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
as far as thematic middle, not episodic middle.
All right.
Yeah.
Making sure. We good.
So yeah, and that's the thing that I kind of want to point out. So I've ingested this story in all 3 of its ways: live action, manga, and anime. And what I can say is that from the anime adaptation, yes, it seems like it is not the first half. But if we talking like books, it's definitely only the first half. You know what I'm saying? Like or like the first third. Because the first third was just so critically acclaimed, and like that's what the anime person chose to write about or to make it about. So they like basically explained that first third of the story as manga accurate as possible, and was like, all right, that was the good part. Zoomed through the rest. It was like, all right, we at the end of this bitch. Let's go. Like, that's if you read the manga, or actually really graphic novels, and or watch the live action version, which is a little closer to the manga, you gonna be like, yo, is hella shit missing at the end. But that first third, that shit scene for scene.
I did take like a quick read as far as to like Gaku's backstory, and I was like, yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been interesting to watch.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, as a serial killer, I also didn't get enough from him at all. So I guess there's more information in other places. So
they hold him in the anime.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know where none of this shit is coming from. Like, these expertise that you have in all these various things, and his shit wasn't backing up what I was seeing him do. So I'm good to know that they did flush that out in another medium.
Yeah.
But since we technically reviewing the anime, as is, they did not flush his character out because they rushed through shit. There are a lot of plot holes. The ending of the anime is the worst, and I'm not even one of them like snob niggas that be like, it gotta be just like the manga. Nah, that ain't me. I'm just saying it was actually factually just trash. Like, my man's woke up out of a coma, got his memories back. All right, y'all, I ain't showed not one single ounce of strat in me in my life, nigga.
Yeah.
Let me pull out this light level fucking
shit.
strat on a man that avoided murders when niggas knew who he was gonna kill and where he was gonna kill him. He avoided getting booked. This nigga was not no idiot. If he was, he would have got caught. It's only like 13 niggas in that town. This nigga actually pretty freaking sneaky, and they caught this nigga with the dumbest MacGyver goofy catch. Bro, that shit was so stupid.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
I'm like, bro,
Got a
that shit fit the whole
confession.
thing.
Yo, that was definitely some Scooby Snack, Scooby Doo gang type shit right there. Like,
That shit ended like Billionaire Detective.
If it wasn't
Like,
for
yo,
you meddling kids and your goddamn revivals,
right?
I would have made it. His dumbass, like, first of all, for a second, I will also say, like, because it probably was more pushed out in the other ones, and this one from the anime perspective. Also, if I was him, bro, I'm leaving you the fuck alone. Like, I'm gonna hire someone to pull up and kill you later. Like, you're a government official, not to insinuate anything about government officials, but they have influence. So I figure that you could just hire someone to handle this light work for you and make sure he don't say nothing. Like,
But I think that's his thing is he get off to the killing part.
Yeah.
I feel you, but it's like he's a grown man now. So just let it go, bro. There's other kids to kill. Like, not to say it in such a heartless way, but in
Loki,
the perspectives of the story, like, there's other options.
This nigga, from the way they explained it in the anime, he was really fixed. That dude was like, yo, for like the past 15 years, I haven't even had the urge to kill somebody. Right. I'm like, my nigga, why you trying to kill him, bro? You're fixed, nigga. Like, go live your life, son.
Go.
Right. I mean, like, even on like a twisted mind thinking, homie could just randomly visit him and just like still like get off and then just continue on with his life. Like, he didn't have to actually murk him. Like, he could have like easily just kept on going. Like, he got like a real quick friendship with him and then just like left. Then like come back, like just like visit or like talk or something. I don't know. He could have definitely made an excuse where he didn't need to body no more people. But
right.
Man.
Yeah, that's nuts,
yeah. I don't know. Do we have anything else on the plot, or we want to start talking about?
I just want to say to anybody, that may be listening, or just like, if you really love this show, I'm talking like loved it, because this is what made me seek out the other mediums. Is I'm like, man, I loved it, and then the way it ended, I was like, what the fuck? Just, bro, read the manga. You can find them. They got them it's such a popular and like, a critically acclaimed. It got books and shit like that. It's at the library. You're good. You will find it. Don't be salty about the end.
I thought it was gonna be a sales pitch for the rom-com genre, but this one's better.
I like to do that in the shonen when niggas least suspect it.
Wow. That came off kind of rapey, but we'll just leave it.
Pushes up glasses.
So are we ready to move into our final part? Any other things on the plot?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah.
All right, let us talk about if it stood the test of time. As a new watcher, I guess, like, if this was our R series, as like I guess you could call it a restart, but it was a never watched, just started. I would say that I always give an anime points if I can watch it years later or like hella years after it's released and stick with it through and through, like no drop off points where I like, oh yeah, I'll watch something else for a few episodes. I binged it for the weekend. So I have to give them points for being able to stand the test of time in that way, meaning just interested enough to keep me going. Animation doesn't matter as much, but what I will say is I don't know if this anime was like touched up at all for Netflix, but if you watch this show, you wouldn't feel like it came out like hella years ago. I don't even know how long ago it came out, but like because
2016.
Oh, okay. So because there's no action really, I don't think you missed the animation style at all. It feels pretty modern, and I guess technically if it was 2016, it is still pretty modern.
Oh, I said 2016. My bad, I meant 2012.
Oh yeah, so yeah, for it to stand that long, almost 10 years at this point, animation wise, and I felt like I was still watching it in a modern day. Like I didn't have no issues there. That's also a plus. So I would say, from my perspective, it stood the test of time.
It's tough for me to say because I'm pretty much like MGG. This is my first time around, and then I pretty much did one more round just for a little bit more analysis. As MG said, as far as like animation and just like looking at the anime in general, it is definitely visually pleasing in the sense that like it's neutral. In the sense like it's like you're not definitely getting any old vibes, as well as you're not getting anything too crazy. It's just something you could watch, just period, without any kind of issues. As far as the storyline plot, watching everything through, it's a little tough to say. Me personally, I would only watch something all the way through again under like one, I want to like again like try to dive deeper into like the actual analysis of the series itself. Two, want to see some really dope action scenes. Or three, the mystery aspect is so hardcore that I literally forget why this happens or that happens, and I end up watching the whole thing again. In all honesty, I don't believe any of those three qualities would actually fall under when watching Erased. The only, I mean, but at the same notion, since I'm like just me personally, Jugga here speaking, with rom-com and like drama animes, I'm like just now starting to really dive into that type of anime. So for the emotional feels I got at some scenes, I can definitely see that like if I'm feeling a certain way on a certain day, I could be like, you know what? Let me go ahead and pop on a race real quick. I'm in a mood, you know. But like I could see that happening, but it hasn't happened to me before, so I can't validly say it would happen 100%. So I definitely gotta like ride the fence a little bit as far as it truly standing the test of time. So I'm kind of eh. And then like actually just one little note since like I was starting to get my feels. Y'all remember that scene where like the effing Kyo's mom literally like just turned around and just punched homegirl right in the eye? Bro, like that hit. Like that, like I felt that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, my God, bro.
I was like, damn, bro, it's scumbags everywhere.
Yeah.
Like for real. Like that was
He
just
fucked her
that
up.
was just so dirty. I was like, oh my God. Like I hurt. I hurt floor Kyle right there. So I could definitely see me going back and just be like, God damn. Like I'm just feeling so like emotionally driven. That's like, you know, let me see this no good, dirty skank of a parent knock her out one more time. Hashtag I'm not, you know, a child beater. I'm just saying. But anyways.
So I guess on the far end of it, being a connoisseur, if you will, of these non-action anime, I will say Erased 100% stands the test of time. It's critically acclaimed, you know, touted up and down, awards out the wazoo. If that alone lets you know, like, it's going to be good. It's like one of those movies that, like, you don't have to like it, like, you know it's going to be good. It is good on all different media, you know. I think it does a really good job of capturing country Japanese life, you know what I mean? It does a good job capturing like realism, and I think the anime did a good job at like kind of animating that too. So you really feel like some unimportant middle of nowhere guy, like you there with him trying to solve some loose murder that nobody gave a fuck about after like 15 years, you know?
True.
You really get that feel. I never get tired of it. To piggyback on something Jugga said, like every time I watch it, I find something new. It's one of those ones that you could do an in-depth study of, because every time you rewatch it, you like, oh, this was this. Oh, that was Loki in the background. Like it's a good one. Okay. As far as romance goes, it was ass, bottom tier. If somebody were to try and pitch this to me with just a romance, I'll be like, ew, get this out of here. This is
what? Come on,
level shit.
Yo,
you telling me you wouldn't put respect? You wouldn't put respect on the Hiromi crossover, bro?
No, bro.
That's a top boy. That's a top tier relationship technique right there. That's a fucked up twist right there.
Now you know what would have been dope if the mom was dating the
killer
teacher.
Oh,
I'd have been like, yo,
that is way too Disney Channel. No, bro, that's a. I feel like, well, you're the expert, so let me actually take a step back, because I'm out here talking like I watched this for real. But that shit feel kind of lame for me.
Like, I would just say this. This does not like. I would say it's 90% mystery with a splash of romance in there. Like, yes, there are some romance scenes, but like, hardly is this an anime driven by the romance. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So would you call it a collab?
I wouldn't even call it that. I would call it like a sample. Like, you're not even a romance, not a feature on this track. It's a sample. For sure.
Also.
Like, I mean, I ain't gonna say that because I guess he had to like force some like romance ideas in there, but it's just like get a little weird once he kind of like, yo, I'm 30, and I'm like, yes, you are. This is weird, you know. And that's like, bro, that got me really thinking about the author. I'm like, there's a lot of pedophilia mentions in here, bro. So I'm just like, I'm gonna slide that under the rug, bro. I ain't even gonna touch it.
Yo, effed up, but I mean, like, don't forget, Irie was only 17 and Homie was 29.
Yep.
So at the very end, they were hinting that was about to happen. So I mean,
yeah, I'm like, bro,
I'm not trying to do like the
all through this thing, bro.
It's just something to mention.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it from the romance side. Definitely from the mystery side, though. I put it up there with, you know, the likes of Death Note and stuff like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Damn, up there.
Yeah, I consider it number one.
Wow. One thing I would just caution, I guess somebody who's potentially looking to watch it and maybe coming from a shonen background is, well, actually it's fine on the character development if you come from a shonen background because our characters don't get developed. But also just like the shortness and kind of like, I feel like it's better maybe to watch Erased as a movie than it is anime. So like the season really is, it's really more or less watching like a really long movie. And I feel like that makes some of like the extraness that they add make a little bit more sense when you look at it that way than the manga, because you can definitely feel like some of the narrowing of the funnel when you're watching the story. So that's all.
No, you actually mentioned like a good point. I could definitely see this like really good as like a series of like movies, like even if it was just only like 2 or 3, but to be like, we're gonna release like these 3 movies, like about like an hour and a half long, just telling the Erased story. I think that actually would have played very well after round.
I mean, they'll low-key probably do something like that in like 2025, like for sure. It'll come back around.
Okay. I can see it.
But yeah, any other closing comments? If not, we can close this out.
No, just I mean, like we pretty much already talked about our recommendations, but yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen it, which you definitely should, but watch it, because you know, if you're actually about that anime life, this is pretty much like a must-have kind of watch. This is legit.
For sure, and I think if you are like trying to venture out past action anime, this is a wonderful place to start because the plot will keep you there, you know. Yeah, for sure.
All right, well that's it. We will catch y'all in the next late start review. Let us know if you've already seen Erased, what you thought about our review in the comments, and if there's any other shows you want us to rewatch, restart, redeem, late start, let us know in the comment section down below. Other than that, I'm out.
Bye.
Until next time.
All right. This man.
Every time.